how did I get here? What did I do before I was an entrepreneur? It's a good question. I've done a lot of things. I grew up on a hippie commune, so I kind of have, for lack of a better way to describe it, it's more of an alternative lifestyle experiment. A bunch of people kind of living in a group, looking at how to have pleasurable relationships and how to win at relationships. And I think really my success in business has boiled down to my ability to relate with other people and communicate with other people. But I think in a greater sense, in life in general, and whatever you're doing, it comes down to your ability to communicate. Your ability to sell is your ability to communicate how good your offer is. Your ability to get in the door places is your ability to communicate your value to those people. So how did I get here? So I moved to New York when I was 18 years old to play poker for a living. That was great, I did really well at it, but it's sort of a degenerative lifestyle. You're under fluorescent lights, you're with a bunch of guys, there's no women around. I didn't really like that. And I wanted to kind of go straight. So I took a job at a yoga studio where I met my now wife. She was my yoga teacher. I took the job because I knew she taught there, and I was like, I need to figure out a way to be around this girl more often. And I worked 80 hours a week at this yoga studio, and it was tough. And I think that ultimately, people who become entrepreneurs do so because they're chasing some form of freedom, financial freedom, time freedom, freedom of location. They want something more than whatever is their current circumstance. And so for me, I wanted to be able to work from home and spend time with my wife and do things in the world that I considered to be valuable rather than just being stuck at this job. And so I started my first business, sort of moonlight, where I worked all day and then I had my entrepreneurial hustle that I worked on for a couple hours a night, which happens to be the wig business that I told the story about. If you're watching this in the amazing.com membership, I told a little funny story about the wig business you should go check out. But anyways, I got into e-commerce kind of at the right time, E-commerce was just coming up in 2004, 2005, and I got in at that time. I started, there weren't courses like this. There weren't memberships like this. There were forums, So I started doing that, and one thing led to another, and here I am. The advice I would have for you, if you're following in my footsteps, trying to become an online entrepreneur, is not to give up. You will experience setbacks, and that's going to be tough. But the secret is consistency. It's steady pressure. I've seen waves. It was Google AdSense. It was search engine optimization. It was drop shipping. It was private labeling. There's been all these sort of waves that have had people be successful and not successful, things you could do to get successful online. But the key, the people who are really making it are the ones who show up every single day. The next thing I would suggest is find a mentor. Find amazing.com membership. One person or a couple people who you're going to follow. Consume all of their content. Don't just, take a few people here, take a few people there. Pick one or two people and get everything they've got. Take all of their advice. Apply it. Talk to them about what you're doing. Like really invest in one avenue. Don't be a shotgun all over the place. Just pick one thing and really specialize in it, because the key to success is mastery. It's getting good at one thing, not being a generalist. Like having one thing that you get really good at. Now, of course, you want to do everything, but if you're really great at one thing, other things fall into place. Entrepreneurship has given me a lot of freedoms. Now, initially, entrepreneurship was just like extra work. It was like I'm working all day and now I'm being an entrepreneur who's not really making much money. And there sort of came this time, and this will happen to you as well. There's this time where you get to make the jump, where you're not exactly sure how it's going to work out, but you quit your full-time job and you're not really making enough to support yourself, but you're hoping that extra energy that you're putting into your hustle or your business is going to do it for you. There's always going to be that, like, when do I take the leap? And you've got to be willing to take that leap when that opportunity comes. So I've got a lot of freedom now. Now, the interesting thing about money, right? Entrepreneurship has afforded me to have a lot more money. And what's interesting about money is it actually does not buy you happiness. Money can't buy you happiness. Happiness does not come from having things, right? Money can buy you comfort, right? You can buy a certain level of comfort. Now, they did this study. Once you're over $75,000 a year in this economy, in America, if you're in America, then you don't get any happier with how much money you make. You may be able to get, time freedom, location freedom, the freedom to relate with whoever you want, and that stuff could lead to happiness. But at the end of the day, money doesn't buy you happiness, it buys you comfort. So for me, entrepreneurship has afforded me a lot of opportunities. Like, for example, I have 40 employees in my business. Like, more than half of them are family members, friends, friends of friends, cousins, brothers. So I've been able to create this sort of network of people who I love already and get to spend my time with, because you spend a lot of time working. It's afforded me the ability to relate with and communicate with and touch a lot of people's lives through smartmarketer.com, which is my website, where I kind of document and share what I'm doing. So it's afforded me, it's given me, I think was the question, a lot of stuff. My favorite of which is sort of the ability to choose where I put my energy. Who inspires me? And my wife. She is so loving, so joyous, so focused, and so willing to just do what it takes to get what she wants and have things the way she wants. And she doesn't have it that in order to have what you want, what she wants, that other people, can't get what they want. Like, she's got it that we can all win if we put enough time and energy into figuring out what would be a winning, how she can have what she wants and I can have what I want, or everyone else can have what they want at the same time. I think I'm inspired by books. I'm inspired by thought leaders. I'm inspired all over the place. It's sort of not probably the answer you were looking for, but I think inspiration is around us at all times if we're willing to see it, right? Like, you can be inspired by nature, by a flower, by a person. There's so much inspiration available to you. The question is, are you looking for that inspiration? Are you willing to acknowledge that thing or that person or that object as inspiring? It's a choice. What does being an entrepreneur mean to me? It means being willing to take risks, being willing to be responsible for more than just yourself. So they say, with great power comes great responsibility, right? But if you flip that around, the reverse is more true. With great responsibility comes great power. The more responsibility you're willing to take, you're willing to, hey, I'm responsible for paying 40 people's paycheck. You get power out of that. You get 40 people's time. The more that you're willing to take responsibility for your life and your situation, the more power you have. So for me, being an entrepreneur means taking responsibility for myself, for those around me, for my business, for my life. How have I incorporated giving back into my businesses? I actually think that giving is profit for me. So it's interesting. I'll give you my business model. It's permaculture. If you're familiar with the concept of permaculture, it's kind of sort of generally just leveraging everything that you have to its greatest benefit. So I have e-commerce businesses, right? And those e-commerce businesses do really well. We put a lot of attention on them. We grow them. We then take what works there, we document it, and we share it with other people. So we sort of open source our businesses so that other business owners can benefit. We give that information for free and we sell that information. Then we make money from selling that information and we put it back into our e-commerce businesses, which then do better, which we then document, and then we, create content and sell that content. So it kind of works hand in hand. And I think that any good business, my tagline in business for Smart Marketer anyways, is serve the world unselfishly and profit. Because I think the only way to truly profit is to be in service of other people. And if you're not in service of other people, you won't profit for that long. You might have some hustle that might work for a while or some crap that's going to, be a flash in the pan. But in order to actually have a profitable venture, you have to be in service of some group of people. And so what I'm looking for in my businesses is how I can be of service and then also monetize that. Because here's the interesting thing. You can only give from surplus. I cannot give to you what I don't have extra. I can't give you food that I don't have that's extra. Like, you can only truly give from your own surplus. So I am creating lots of surplus for myself so that I have surplus to give back, right? I'm creating this lifestyle, I'm creating all this stuff so that I'm in a position to be able to give, right? If I was burned out, spending all my time working myself to the ground in my business, I wouldn't have the energy for Smart Marketer to share what I'm doing. So what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, the nicest thing you can do for yourself, everyone around you, and your business, and the most profitable thing you can do, is take care of yourself so thoroughly that you have surplus energy, surplus time, and surplus whatever it is to give to other people. And if you're not well taken care of, you can't do that. So this concept of giving what you don't have doesn't actually work. It works to give what you have surplus of. And so what I do is create surplus, document what's working, give that to business owners, monetize that so that I have money to invest back in my business so I can document more. So it's sort of a win-win-win kind of thing going. Ezra Firestone for amazing.com. Check me out at smartmarketer.com. Thanks for watching.